We must put America first. This is a nation that invented the light bulb, the telegraph, the television, the telephone, the computer chip, the smartphone, the GPS, the integrated circuit, and even the internet. Basically, we invented everything. What is left? We invented everything. And now it's AI. We invented everything. Does anyone have anything else to say?
In honor of Black History Month, can you name one black invention?
One black invention from a black person?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know, bro.
I can actually name 3. Twerking, KFC, and being really loud.
One black invention?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter?
Yeah.
Can you do like any better? Like something that was useful to society?
No.
In terms of nouns, like literal things such as the light bulb or electricity or the internet, I can't say I can give you one. In terms of adjectives, I could give you loud, I could give you obnoxious, I could give you incarcerated. You see what I'm saying?
Nothing?
Not that I don't know, bro. I'm gonna get cooked from the comments. I don't know, though.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's so hard to name a black invention?
Shit. Why? No clue.
People don't talk about all the great things white people have accomplished. 97% of inventions were made by Europeans. And there's actually a website when they say like the traffic light or peanut butter was invented by black people. There's like a website that like fact checks these black inventions, and you look deeper into it and usually they're all from white people that they might have added something or it was like completely stolen. So why are we not taught about that?
Wow, there's a site debunking black inventions.
Yeah, I forgot the name of it right now, but they didn't even invent peanut butter. So I don't think they've invented anything, actually.
Everybody around the world copies African Americans and then yet disrespects them. GPS is a black woman. Well, 3D imaging is a black woman. Laser eye surgery is a black woman. Escalators a black inventor. Elevators a black inventor. The roller coaster, the cell phone, our video games is Jerry Lawson. Mary Van Brighton in 1966, she invented the home security. You're talking about open heart surgery, Daniel Hale, plasma, Charles Drew. We can keep going. Surgical equipment. Black people inventing, just constantly inventing, and they took everything and lied. And black people are still thriving. Black women have the highest degrees in America. These are the same women that were operated on with no anesthesia, but they're #1 in academics. Atrocities that African Americans have been through, I'm surprised we are this peaceful.
Why is everybody so surprised when they find out that a black person invented something?
Oh, a little statistic I read the other day.
Tell me.
A black kid invented the doorknob. Did you know that? Google it. That guy invented the door fucking knob, dude.
What the hell were they doing before?
They were difficult to open. I mean, but he made it, and he made no money off of it. He just, people just stole it from him. Like, I could have thought of that, and just took it from him. That guy invented the Osmond Dorsey. Credit to him.
It's almost like they could never see it, but that also makes me think of why black history is so important, because they think all we do is shoot basketballs and catch footballs, but no. Way back, 1800s, 1900s, even the 1700s, black people weren't all slaves. Black people weren't all poor. We did everything, okay? So I think it's weird that even today in 2025, we still see black people as like this subhuman group that like barely invented the wheel or something. No, black Americans been out here in these streets inventing stuff. Just like this brother right here, Osborne Dorsey, who invented the doorknob and got the patent in 1878. You get what I'm saying? So shout out to him and his relatives that are still here. But no, black Americans been out here in these streets. You can just look up the millions and millions of things that we had our hands on.
But why are people scared to say that? Like, obviously people have their strengths and weaknesses. Like, we can acknowledge that black people, you know, they sprint the fastest. There's most of the NBA is black. Why can't we say?
Well, it's just like that, for example, like with like physicality aspects, like it just matters on like the genetics, you know. And they usually say because, you know, with slavery they had like them procreate with the strongest and fast whatever. But it just comes down to like your genetics. I don't know.
Going to be a racist, then you should be a true racist and not use anything or be involved with anything that was invented or created by blacks. Do you want a list? The ironing board, the refrigerator, the baby carriage, the shoemaking machines, the traffic signal, the incandescent light bulb, the folding bed, the mailbox, air conditioning, elevator. You want me to go on?
This is a nation that invented the light bulb, the telegraph, the television, the telephone, the computer chip, the smartphone, the GPS, the integrated circuit, and even the internet. Basically, we invented everything.
We? We.
A 21-year-old black inventor from Atlanta has figured out how to turn plastic waste into usable fuel such as gasoline and diesel.
So I've created my own gas station that makes fuel from plastic waste. Let's go.
So obviously you can see that this guy is very legit, but also we can see that this would pose a threat to the multi-trillion-dollar oil industry and that this could possibly be dangerous for his life. Now, when I say dangerous to his life, I'm not talking about vapors or explosions or typical things that can happen when you're dealing with flammable liquids. I'm talking about danger from people who could easily be targeting him for threatening their multi-trillion-dollar industry, the oil industry. Here's a video where he himself basically is expressing the same exact concern.
I can't go into too much detail, but there is some very, very odd stuff going on. I'm certainly under attack right now in many different ways, and I just want everybody to know to just kind of have your eyes open, and I have my eyes open.
Alright, racists, let's talk about the part of history you like to tout the most, black inventions. And along with those inventions comes the receipts. Racist America has pretended for far too long that black people haven't created or invented most things, if not every single thing we use daily. They like to pretend that the toolbox of life just appeared out of nowhere, or that it was gifted by some default white guy. Then they act shocked every single time a black indigenous American shows up in the patent record. This pattern in history of gaslighting and erasure ends now. So why don't we break the spell with a hit list of under-referenced black American inventors, whose work you touch, hear, and rely on every single day, whether you say their names or not. This is what I call the not-so-familiar list. James E. West co-invented the electric microphone in 1962. That tiny capsule in smartphones, laptops, hearing aids, and almost every modern mic, brought to you by a black man, James West. George Edward Alcorn Jr. built the imaging X-ray spectrometer in 1984 that sharpened space and materials research. NASA named him Inventor of the Year. Translation, he built the instruments that actually see what the naked eye can't. Black brilliance. Meredith Gourdine pioneered electro-gas dynamics, devices like incinerate cut smoke and industrial pollution. He engineered the actual physics. David N. Crosswaite Jr., architect of modern HVAC controls for big buildings. He has 39 U.S. patents, some of which include heating systems for Radio City Music Hall as well as Rockefeller Center. So when you visit these places, your climate comfort is running on David's math. Walter Lincoln Hawkins created durable polymer cable sheathing so telephone lines could survive the sun and harsh weather. Otis Boykin designed precision resistors that stabilized consumer electronics and pacemaker controls. George Carruthers invented the far ultraviolet camera / spectrograph used on Apollo 16 to image Earth's atmosphere and interstellar space. When science looked farther, it used George's instrument. Jerry Lawson led the team behind the interchangeable video game cartridge, the truest pioneer to console gaming. Jesse Russell was the key architect of digital cellular systems and base station tech. He laid the groundwork for the networks that your phone lives on. Marion Croak is the holder of 200+ patents in voice over IP and internet call tech. So as far as internet calling as a service, she operationalized the pipeline. Valerie Thomas, the pioneer behind the Illusion Transmitter 3D image tech at NASA. Bessie Blount Griffin inventor of the self-feeding device used for amputees and a disposable emesis basin. It's a clinical design that restored autonomy to its users in this country. Then it spread internationally. Alice H. Parker created the 1919 patent for a gas-fired centrally zoned heating furnace. She also planted the seed ideas for modern home heating segmentation. Miriam E. Benjamin, in 1888, created the gong and signal chair, a call button system predating hotel service alerts. The start of push to summon was formulated by her genius. Andrew J. Beard invented the Jenny coupler in 1897, which is an automated dangerous link and pin rail coupling. His work improved freight efficiency and worker safety. Philip B. Downing created the street letterbox in 1891 with a weather shielding door for mail drop-off. Yes, a black man created the mailbox. John Stannard. In 1891, he invented the non-electric refrigerator and compact oil stove, the pioneer of non-electric appliances. Richard B. Spikes. He iterated the automatic gear shift and most automotive safety systems. Lloyd Hall. He advanced food preservation, using safer curing salts, using spice sterilization, and antioxidants. He created the industry-level shelf life. So what was the point to all of this? Reality reads like this list. Black Americans were already here, already building, and already creating everything. Designing the microphones inside your phone, the networks under your texts, the heat in your building, the optics in your space science, the cartridges that built an entire gaming industry, the clinical tools that dignify autonomous care, and the dull metal boxes swallowing your mail on the corner. Erasing the creativity and the genius of the original people isn't accidental. It's an act of violence. You can keep pretending you invented everything, sure. Or you can look around, call things what they are, and stop living on lies. Pretending to be superior in technology and a spiritual power you can't even use. The entire world can see the limitations of racists. The big question is, however, why can't you?
Here are 15 black inventors that you should have heard of, coming to you live from the National Inventors Hall of Fame. We're going to kick things off with Marie Van Brittan Brown, the woman who was ADT and Ring before ADT and Ring ever existed. In the 1960s, as a nurse in New York, she was fascinated with electronic products, and her husband happened to work in the electronics industry, so she got her hands on some closed-circuit television cameras. And what she did was create a home security system, complete with that closed-circuit camera, remote door locks, panic buttons to the fire and police department. She could remotely lock and unlock her door, and she received a patent for this.
George Washington Murray was born into slavery in 1853 in South Carolina, and he actually served in Congress. He was the only African American in the 53rd and 54th Congress. But he was also an inventor, and he held 8 patents in farming and agriculture. And one of those patents, those inventions, was this one right here, which was inspired by his wife's sewing machine. And it was a farming device that had interchangeable parts.
Next up on our list is the man, the myth, the legend, George Washington Carver. George Washington Carver did not invent the peanut, that was the big guy, or peanut butter, but he did find over 325 uses for the peanut, aka legume, revolutionizing the entire industry.
Patricia Bath was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame in 2022 and was the first black woman physician to receive a medical patent. Her invention, the laser phaco, a new device and technique for removing cataracts.
Dr. Gladys West, a Virginia State University graduate who went on to work at the Naval Surface Warfare Center for over 40 years, she came up with many, many amazing things. But the crazy thing, and the most amazing thing she did, is she figured out the gravitational and tidal forces on our planet. And she figured out the mathematical computations. And what this led to is pinpoint accuracy of GPS.
Familiar with blood banks and blood mobiles, then thank Dr. Charles Drew of the illustrious Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Dr. Drew created a way for us to not only preserve blood, but to transport it, which was very important during World War II, which saved countless numbers of lives. Unfortunately, African Americans at that time were not allowed to actually donate blood, but that was reversed in 1942 when the Red Cross allowed it, except that blood was still segregated. Dr. Charles Drew then resigned in protest. Sadly, Dr. Charles Drew would actually die in 1950, in a car accident.
One of my favorite inventors of all time, Frederick McKinley Jones. He was orphaned at 11 years old with a 6th grade education, and he went on to change our world. Not only did he patent the movie ticket dispensing machine, he created a pre-runner of the snowmobile and the portable x-ray machine. He also created mobile refrigeration, which gave the world Thermo King, which is how we transport frozen items from point A to point B. And he received over 60 patents in his lifetime.
If you like breadcrumbs in your salad, then you're going to love Joseph Lee. Born in 1849, he spent the first 10 years of his life in slavery. He then went on to be a blacksmith in the Civil War and then served as a steward in the U.S. Coast Survey. Now, as a steward, he was a cook and a baker. And it was the baking that changed everything. A self-taught entrepreneur, Lee created a device that was a kneading device that helped streamline the baking process and create more uniform bread. With a lot more bread, he started looking around and seeing that there's a lot actually going to waste. And so, even though it may be a day old or a little stale, he's like, you know what, there's something that can be done about this. And so he created the breadcrumber.
James West holds over 250 national and international patents. He's most famously known for the electric microphone, and over 90% of microphones in use today are based upon his technology.
One of the best-selling toys of all time and a water gun that changed the world, the Super Soaker, was actually invented by a nuclear engineer and a graduate of Tuskegee University, Lonnie Johnson.
Now let's talk about Ned. We don't actually know his last name because Ned was an enslaved black American man, and he came up with the idea of the double cotton scraper. But the man who enslaved him, Oscar Stewart, tried to patent that idea, but because he couldn't prove that he came up with it, he couldn't receive the patent. And because Ned was an enslaved man, he couldn't prove citizenship, America.
Thomas Jennings was the first African American to receive a patent in the United States for dry scouring, which is today what we call dry cleaning. In 1820, he applied for the patent and had to take an oath to swear that he was actually a citizen of the United States. Now, he was a freeman, so he was a citizen. Upon his death, Frederick Douglass wrote that the patent recognized his citizenship.
I told you about Ned, but let me tell you about Madam C.J. Walker, one of the first American women to be a self-made millionaire. She built a hair product company that became an international conglomerate. And she was so successful because she invested back in her business and the communities that supported her. And she actually went to President Woodrow Wilson in 1917 to demand that we make lynching a crime.
If you like working from home, then thank Marion Croak, the inventor of the Voice over the Internet protocol. She's the one who kept us all connected during COVID. Walt Disney's most prolific inventor is Laney Smoot. He has 106 patents and counting. And one of my personal favorites is the extendable lightsaber. And he has been revolutionizing the film industry. And one of those inventions is this right here, the holotile floor technology, which allows actors to be on stage, stand on the floor, and walk and move in any direction without ever actually moving.
This concludes our tour at the National Inventors Hall of Fame here in Alexandria, Virginia, where this is like a living, breathing database of some of the most brilliant and American genius in our country's history.
So, what are we going to talk about next?
So guys, we will not be tired of saying these things over and over again. I know for those people that have followed me from when I started doing my YouTube, you must have realized that I have done a video about the black inventions in the past, and talking about the African Americans or black Americans, if you like, the inventions that they have had for a very long time but is hidden from the world, that white people have taken and stolen patents to these inventions, and making sure that they couple that with stealing and hiding the history, the true history of the black people, so that no one knows the truth about the black people. What am I even saying? Black people have invented over 10,000 things in this world, very useful things, and I get very angry when I see someone being asked about naming just about any invention that they know that was a black person's idea, and they go ahead and say peanut butter, twerking, and they are not saying it in a way to show that is all that they know. They want to show the world that the black person is nothing, and the black person does not possess that kind of that kind of a brain that can help them make or come up with something as important as everything that we've seen mentioned in this video. Now, these people have a way of raising their children, schooling them, and making them to downplay everything about black people. This includes everything that the black person invented. Now, someone would wonder why we keep insisting that the black person made almost everything in this world. The reason is because the black people were in a place where they had to work. For example, let me give you just a snippet of something that can help you relate to what I'm saying. For example, the slavery times, the black women were supposed to iron the white people's clothes, their masters, you know. How are they supposed to do that? They were supposed to make sure that those clothes are straight and they are neatly done, and they did not have machine and tools to help them do that. What did they do? They decided to start figuring out what they can do that can help them to do that job and do it clean, because else they would be killed, they would be punished, they would be raped, they would have to endure a lot of trouble because of not doing what their master wanted them to do. Now, they say invention, necessity is the mother of invention. This is exactly what it means in context, that they had to do the work, so they had to find a way of that work being done. And that is exactly what happened to every other sector of all these inventions that you are seeing over here. Now, the reason why white people and even sadly most black people in America don't even know the history and the things that their forefathers have achieved so far is because this kind of history is hidden from them. This kind of history is made to be like something to be ashamed of, yeah? They make sure that anything that glorifies the black person is not out there in the public. Anything that makes the black person look as though they are important is put away and forgotten and to never come out to the open. That is exactly what they have done about the history. Now, if these people have been able to hide that, if they have been able to hide the history and everything that happened with the slavery time and what our forefathers did, then it means they have a lot more that they are hiding. They must have a lot more that they're hiding, and that's why they're always scared. They're always living in a bubble, trying to make themselves look very important, look like the very able race, look like this world would not work without them, as though, these people behave as though they even created us. They behave like gods because they have, from a very young age, been taught that they are that. And they behave and walk in a manner to suggest that that is exactly what they think. Because then how do you explain them being so ignorant of things as important as what we are discussing in this video? There's a lot of things that they are unaware of, and you wonder sometimes, you ask yourself, how come these people have gone to school for all those years just to come up without an idea of what black people really did? And that question is very unsettling. Sorry, my camera is misbehaving a bit, but I'm working on it. So guys, sadly for them, we have the internet now, and we are going to make sure that what we did not know, what our black people did not know growing up, their children and their children's children will know the truth, and they will know the history, and they will know everything that was good about the African Americans and all the achievements and all the ills that were done to them. Now, if they can hide the good things that Africans, the African Americans did, ask yourself how much more they would have, they must have hidden at this point regarding what they did to those enslaved Africans. Yeah, there has to be a lot more that we don't know, and as long as we have the internet, as long as we have scholars, as long as we have people that are willing to research and know the truth, we are going to uncover every single truth and every single thing that they hid from us. And if that will make them feel powerless and feel as though their power is being taken away, then that is on them. We are not supposed to worry about that because it is not one of our problems. Our problem is knowing where the black people came from, knowing what the black people did, what they went through, and why are these people always after the black race? That is the other question that I keep asking myself. If black people are that useless as they try to make it look and sound, then why are they always obsessed about anything a black person does? Why are they very obsessed about such things as this? Why are they obsessed about trying to make the black person look as though they are very useless and they have been for a very long time? If someone says the only thing they think a black person invented was twerking, that is showing how racist their mindset is and how they look and, you know, view the black person. That is exactly what their mind is like. They think that black people are a burden to this society, and they actually make it look as though without them the world would not run. The world would stop spinning because the white man is not in it, which is false. And guys, I think and I know that you have enjoyed the video. Now I want you guys to do some little research, some little work. You have seen all the inventions that have been listed on this video. Now I want you to find at least 5 inventions that you know were from the black people and share it in the comment section. Why am I saying that? Because there are many people that are going to watch this video, be it white or black or whatever else, that do not have an idea that this and this was brought up by black people in the past. Let us let them know that whatever rhetoric, whatever ideas, whatever that has been instilled in their minds is not the truth. Let them know today that everything they have been taught about the black person is false, and that the black person may not talk a lot, may not complain so much, may not brag about the things that they have done. But if the white person was told today to stand on their racism for sure and do away with everything that the black person invented, you know, if you are so sure that you do not love black people, then I think you should be in a good position to do away with everything that they invented, yeah? And it's as simple as they invented this, I'm never going to use it. They invented curtains, I'm not going to use curtains in my house, yeah? So if you really feel in your heart that you hate black people that much, make sure that all these things that have been listed, all these things that will be listed in the comment section, you are able to do away with. And as long as you are not doing that, then you're not being true to yourself, yeah? So guys, do that for me. For new subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and helping it to grow a bit bigger, to reach as many people as possible. Guys, returning subscribers, thank you so much. You people are the ones that have made me who I am right now. And if you are here and it's your first time and you have not subscribed to my channel, kindly consider subscribing to get this kind of content and more. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like it a bit too much, give it a super thanks. And guys, I think I will see you on my next video. So bye for now.